Esteemed audience, innovation is all about identifying opportunities and then using them to maximize benefits. But just how far can we push these boundaries?
This is Kenya's #1 debate platform, the Great Debaters Contest. I am your host, Chris Borum.
And I am Esperancia Kapanga. Today's motion is touchy. It states, slum tourism is exploitative of the poor and should be banned.
Today, our debaters on stage. In the proposition, we have Tartar Girls High School, and in the opposition, we have Chewoyet Boys High School.
Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes to make your statement.
You laugh at the memes. Imagine you are the meme. I go by the name Cynthia Nakure from Tartar Girls, here to formally propose the motion that says that slum tourism is exploitative to the poor and it should be banned. Let's start by defining the terms. What's a slum? Slum is an area of a city that is very poor and where the condition of the environment is very bad. Tourism. It is the act of visiting a particular place for pleasure purposes. Exploitative. Treating someone unfairly in order to gain advantage or make some money. Ban is the act of saying that something is officially not allowed or prohibited. In short, this motion said that this act of visiting places, areas of a city that is very poor for pleasure purposes is taking advantage of the poor and it should be prohibited. On to my first point, it destroys the images of the country. When these tourists come to our slums, they tend to take pictures of these guys who are malnutritioned, they are very poor and in a very bad condition. These pictures that they take and films, they tend to post it on social media. And this social media is accessed upon by the whole universe. So, this outside world, they tend to see the pictures of our own country. Despite of the fact that we are very prosperous, they destroy our image. On to my second point, overdependency. It leads to overdependency. Why? These slum dwellers, most of them, they are very poor, which means they can't have access to any amount of money that is enough for them. So, they don't have any employment opportunities. And you've come to realize that slum tourism is the next big thing that is coming up. So when these tourists visit our slums, they tend to give up some of their money, like charity, onto them, and they become so over-dependent on these guys that they become so lazy. I rest my case.
First proposer, you have 3 minutes to make your submissions.
A fact is a fact. Whether you go to the moon and come back, whether you walk upside down, a fact is always a fact. Yes. According to the research done by Penina Chege of Kenyatta University, which was conducted on 800,000 slum dwellers of Kibera from 12 villages, it stated that of this percentage, 88% had agreed that slum tourism was beneficial and that they liked seeing visitors. Well, I don't want to say much, but there's somebody who would like to see you. I have a coin, a very, very shiny coin, if you can see it very well. A slum, poverty. Don't they relate? What is a slum? A slum is an area where the conditions under which people are living in is very poor. Poor and poverty come in contact. You cannot have a slum if people are not poor. And what causes poverty? Lack of a penny. Because it all starts with a single penny, as per Richard Quest of CNN. According to www.IJAC, this is the International Journals, Arts and Commerce, it states that of this percentage, 62% of slum dwellers had been employed. How were they employed? They had been employed in that the government had taught them ways on how to actually take advantage of slum tourism. Why not come up with such artifacts that tourists love? Because on the same research, it also states that the main aim of slum tourism is number 1, finding out the issues about slum dwellers, and number 2, taking photographs so that they can take back to their colleagues, so that they can also come and see this situation and help those people living under such grounds. That is the main reason of slum tourism. A fact is that, 1, slum tourism is there. Number 2, the dwellers love slum tourism. And number 3, they don't come for leisure. No. A man without feelings is considered to be inhuman. It would be inhuman if I, a loyal resident of Kenya, a loyal friend, because as per Aristotle of Greece, a friend is not somebody who walks and wakes up with you each and every day, but is somebody who helped you when you are in a problem. How will I consider myself a friend if I claim that slum tourism should be banned, yet they consider it as something useful? Well, according to the Standard newspaper of 21st July, that is today, page 31, it states that slum tourism benefited 157 billion last year. Think about that. And think of James Owen of Chewoyet High School as he enlightens us more about slum tourism. Thank you.
Second proposer, you have 3 minutes for cross-examination.
Well. He has talked about helping these tourists. What about those tourists who come in pretense of charity and compare the people from the slums with the way they live because they are wealthy? Just think about that. Okay. Slum tourism. It doesn't ring a bell. Why don't we call it poverty tourism? Stacy Sakula from St. Teresa's Tartar Girls, ready to propose the motion that says slum tourism is very exploitative to the poor and should be banned. And to my first point, discomfort. How will you feel one morning when you wake up and find a group of women or men outside your compound, taking photos of your bungalow, taking photos of your compound? How will you feel? You'll feel bad, obviously not feel comfortable. What about these slum dwellers? The slum dwellers, they live in open houses. They live in places that have no windows or doors. The people that are entering, the all and sundry that are entering this place are able to take photos of them, whatever poor conditions that they are. Slum tourism has got the entire world waxing lyrical about its inherent moral understanding. In that, one 15-year-old student in Dharavi slum stated that it was a very devastating thing for her to see a white man, taking photos of her own grandfather outside the communal bathroom, taking a wash in front of all those people. And after 2 days, when she went back home, she realized that the photos were already posted in the social media. What if that was her grandfather? How would you feel? Obviously, you'll feel bad. You'll not want to go to school. You'll not want to associate with the people just because you believe that they know that. Okay, and to my second point. Poverty. It turns poverty into entertainment. What do I mean by this? Michael Joseph introduced slum tourism in 2005, and he stated that slum tourism, according to the criticizing Jolo, is a form of entertainment. A good example is the Royal Media Services and the EMB productions. When they go to the slums, they entertain these people. They get entertained, but after a short while, even it does not take a day, but they go back home and they leave these people alone. They leave these people devastated, not happy. And to my third point, lack of profit. These expeditions taken by these tourists earn them a lot of money through these ways, such as when they post this information to the social media, such as the headlines. When they post these things to headlines, they post to the newsletters and all those. When they post those things, they are able to get the money. But one thing says that the people from the slum dwellers will not get the profit that they require. Little or no amount of money will be given to them, and this will lead them to a very, very devastating state. Let me just quote words by Fabian Frenzel, a person who learned urban tourism in Leicester University. That man stated that they get photos, we lose our dignity, and we lack profit. Imagine such a man who learned about urban tourism, and he states about that. What about the people living with us? What will they think? I rest my case.
Second opposer, you have 3 minutes for rebuttal.
I am here not to make unnecessary noise. I'm here not to shout my lungs out, but I'm here to change your perspective about slum tourism. Slum tourism, what is that? I'll first start by defining the term poor. Absolute, materialistic, and multidimensional. Evan Silla from Chewoyet National. States of Rio de Janeiro and Soweto and Orangutan, Bangkok, actually foster slum tourism. So what are we debating about? If the slum dwellers themselves, they are fostering slum tourism, they state that poverty has been on a rampant decline since slum tourism. Tangible gigantic strides from global destinations, Kibera, Kenya, from the protracted relief and recovery operations, targeting 32,730 households and achieving them. Isn't that strategic and sustainable development? In most developed countries of slum tourism, the tourists donate $30 per person. That attributes to a total of $900,000 US. Isn't that enough evidence? Isn't that what this is all about? This is all about achieving sustainable development goal number 1, which is eradicating of all forms of poverty. Now, in his survey, Paul Harton, in his survey of residents in slum tourism, he asked them what they feel about slum tourism. Do you know what was their answer? They say, we actually love slum tourism and we encourage more of that. Do you know why? Poverty relief, poverty alleviation. So, what are we debating about if the slum dwellers themselves approve of slum tourism? In favelas, Brazil, recently deemed by World Bank as absolutely poor, they have been on a development. Do you know why? After the current census, 90% of the residents in favelas have TV and have sustaining jobs. Isn't that development? Isn't that? You talk about dignity. You talk about people posting the pictures about the poor. The question is, what is the aftermath of them posting their pictures? They are putting slums into the spotlight. They are attracting donations worldwide. Housing development, attracting 6.2 billion from the World Bank. Isn't that development of the slum dwellers? Now, I will not rest my case. I will never rest my case. You know why? I will not accept the right of the slum dwellers to be shunned away. If you are not ready to embrace slum tourism, then you can lock me away for a very long time so that I may not see dawn again or hear the laments about the slum dwellers.
The proposers have been asked, they are not for slum tourism, then how else would they propose we improve the lives of those living in slums? The opposers, on the other hand, have been asked, they have stated that slum tourism benefits the dwellers of the slums, but how exactly does it do that if it still leaves them in the exact same position after all is said and done? Third proposer, you have 3 minutes to respond.
In this expanding world of ours, we have talent and skills. It is through talents and skills that we can help ourselves. by the loans that we get from the government as the poor people. Take, for instance, the movie that was showcasted called The Great Gods. Did I just hear someone talking about these photos being taken home as evidence that they were there? Well, let me correct you. These photos are being used as a tool of mockery. Take for instance, the memes that you see on social medias. A video comparing the rich and the poor. A rich kid dancing and the poor kid dancing. The rich kid is called the pizza kid, and the poor kid is called the maragwe and ugali kid. They are both dancing. If you examine this video, you will see that the rich kid is dressed well, and the poor kid is dressed in torn clothes. Is it not an exploitation and a form of mockery to the poor? One is not paid for having a brain, but rewarded for using it properly. Stacey Wairimu, Tartar girls. To begin with, slum tourism is a threat to our security. In Soweto slums, 10,700 people visit in a year, and 1,600 people visit daily. All these people, there are no safeguards to restrict them from harming the poor. The slum dwellers interact with them. They interact with these people that they don't know. What if a pedophile took a tour? Let's take for instance the Boko Haram terrorists who visited Sierra Leone to act as spies. They sent 3 spies to act there. This does not providing insecurity to these slum dwellers. My second point, it takes advantage of the poor. Take for instance the Londoners who visited the opium dense slums. There, they took some people to act. These people were acting as gangsters where they were killing. They were doing real killing. They act as drug abusers where they are really abusing drugs. They act as sexualists where they were really having sex in open fields. Tell me, if you over there watch pornography in secret for those who watch, then what about these people who are forced to do it in public? Many a times, a man falls in love with a dimple and ends up making the mistake of marrying the whole girl. Let's not fall in love with this idea that slum tourism is exploitative. It's not exploitative, and end up making a mistake of preventing its banning. Thank you. I rest my case.
Kadopoza, you have 3 minutes to respond.
I would like to start by responding to the question posted unto us by the audience. Did you know that the main aim of slum tourism is not ending the slum, is not getting rid of the slum, but rather improving the life of the slum dwellers? Actually, according to a report released by the Kenya Tourism Board, that is KTB, that slum tourism helped to increase the employment rate to 60%. Sanitation was improved to 72%. Housing development was improved to 52%. This is because the World Bank gave 6.2 billion shillings to Kenya to develop housing systems in Kibra. My first point, according to a research released by Mikawi MA, the year 2012, it stated that 2/3 of slum dwellers felt that there were positive aspects of slum tourism. 2/3 of those slum dwellers, they say that they were getting employed in the projects released by the slum tourists. Now, if we are going to ban slum tourism, this basically means that each and every one of them will get fired. We'll be killing their last tinkle of hope. We'll be killing their future. Collecting donations. Slum tourism, when they come, they see the state that you live. They have that humanity feeling. They have that feeling of human, and they're not heartless.
This is because they are going to call their friends and say, let's donate for these people. Let's help them to improve their lifestyle. Now, if you're going to say that we are going to ban slum tourism, it basically means that these people will never be donated for. These people will die of hunger because the government has neglected them. And somebody mentioned something about mockery. Yeah, it's better for that government to be mocked, because if they are going to neglect their duties, it means that these people are going to be left to suffer. But no, when we have slum tourism and these photos are exposed, the government does not like to be mocked. It basically means that they are going to work hard towards a better future. They are going to help the slum dwellers to live a better life so that they can avoid mockery. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, the Haravi receives $700,000. That is 70 million Kenyan shillings each and every month due to slum tourism. That is according to Ashley Cole and Goodwin, who are slum tourists. Now, if you are going to ban slum tourism, it means that that money is going to be lost. I rest my case.
Proposition, you have 1 minute for final submission.
One word is enough for a wise man. Why should we pretend to be sleeping beauties and waiting for the Prince Charmings to come and kiss us back to reality? Let's stand together and support the motion that says that slum tourism is exploitative to the poor and should be banned. If you feel that it's not convenient enough, please call me. I've said call me back. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 1 minute for final submission.
Yes, I agree very well that it will lower my dignity when I'm posted online. But really, is it worth being poor than your dignity being lowered? That's a question for you to think about. Well, it is because of posting that recently at Kapenguria, where I and my sisters come from, there's a team called the Presidential Awards that actually learned about the slum dwellers there, and they came to feed them. It was on news. So how did it lower their dignity? They never even saw it as something bad. Well, I, myself, and my team see to it that I am not a researcher, neither am I a professor, but a fact is always a fact. And it remains that slum tourism is good for slum dwellers. Researchers have given out their research. Theorists have given out their theorems. But the fact will always remain that somebody who lives in a state knows better than I do. Slum dwellers know better than we do. Why you oppose them? Think about that. James Owino of Chewoyet National.
Cynthia from Tartar Girls. You began at quite a low note. Seemingly you're not sure of what you wanted to say. However, you came in and brought about the issue of slum tourism, dehumanizing the dwellers themselves. That was good. But now you worked within 2 minutes, which you didn't maximize your time. Stacy Sakula, you felt quite embittered by this tourism because possibly maybe you are a slum dweller, and you felt that it is quite dehumanizing to the slum dwellers. Wairimu, you also quite strong, you began quite strong, but in the course of your presentation, you quite low down, but you still emphasized on what Stacey talked about, the dehumanizing nature of everything, making them not feel comfortable. Chewoyet boys, we know you are a very strong speaker. You began so strong. However, you did not break down the motion as expected. You gave us a research by Kenyatta University in Kibra, where they did research on 8,000 slum dwellers in 12 villages. Now, I don't believe that is not the actual number in Kibra. Then, Evans, you made us quite struggle to follow your presentation, but I think you were quite sharp, but we didn't really follow your presentation. You kept asking us, what are we debating about? That question came out twice, and it's still a debate to be debated. These are motions that are supposed to be debated. Now, Bravin, also you came in very strong now to back up on what Evans had said. You told us that slum tourism is meant to improve the standards of the slum dwellers. And you gave us some two very good, important information, but you didn't give us the sources where you got all these. But the two teams have done quite a good job. We wish you the best. May the best team win. Thank you.
St. Teresa's Tartar Girls High School. The judges awarded you 66.4%. Let's give them a round of applause. Chewoyet Boys High School. The judges awarded you 68.2%. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations to both teams for giving us a good show and a good debate.
For the winning team, remember, do not let the victory go to your head. And for the other team, please do remember that it's not in whether you win or lose, it's in how you play this game. I have been your host, Esperancia Kapanga.
And until the next episode, I'm Chris Boru. Don't touch that dial.